The Bayport Ferry terminal was shrouded in a cold October drizzle, the parking lot empty and silent at 5:15 a.m. The only sound was the distant cry of a gull and the hum of sodium vapor lamps reflecting off wet asphalt. Security guard Dave Miller, finishing his night patrol, noticed a blue sedan idling in the lot. Expecting a sleeping commuter, he peered inside, only to find the car empty. The keys were in the ignition, the engine running, and faint warmth drifted from the vents. On the passenger seat, a worn briefcase and a half-eaten apple. On the back seat, a neatly folded trench coat. No sign of struggle, no broken glass, nothing out of place, except the absence of a driver. The terminal was locked, and Miller's booth was the only way in or out. No one had passed by. The car sat, humming, a solitary anomaly in the pre-dawn gloom. Miller called the police. The initial response was routine. Maybe a medical emergency, maybe a forgetful commuter. But as the sun rose and the car remained unclaimed, the situation grew stranger. The car was registered to Martin Hale. Martin Hale was not the type to leave his car running in an empty lot. The police began to realize this was no ordinary case. The scene was undisturbed, yet deeply unsettling. The car's presence was a question mark in the morning fog. Where was Martin Hale? Why had he left everything behind? The mystery was just beginning, and the answers, if any, were nowhere in sight. Martin Hale was a man of routine, an accountant, 52, who took the same ferry every morning. His life was predictable. Same breakfast, same commute, same quiet evenings at home. Friends and neighbors described him as reliable, meticulous, and content. He had no enemies, no debts, no secrets, at least none anyone knew. His wife, Eleanor, noticed his absence only when he failed to return home by his usual time. Calls to his phone went unanswered. Worry set in. Martin was the type to double-check the toaster, balance his checkbook, and never miss a detail. For him to vanish, leaving his car running, doors unlocked, was unthinkable. Investigators were baffled. This wasn't a reckless youth or a troubled soul. This was Martin Hale, the embodiment of order. The scene at the terminal was a tear in the fabric of his carefully constructed life. The question wasn't just where he'd gone, but how a man so rooted in routine could simply disappear. The puzzle pieces refused to fit. Investigators turned to the ferry terminal's security cameras, hoping for answers. Footage showed Martin's blue sedan arriving at 4:48 a.m., parking in his usual spot. He looked tired, but nothing seemed amiss. Then, for 20 minutes, the car sat motionless. No one got in or out. The camera's view was too distant to reveal details inside. At 5:08 a.m., every camera at the terminal went black for exactly 90 seconds. When the feed returned, the car was still there, but Martin was gone. He wasn't seen leaving the car or walking toward the terminal. It was as if he'd vanished in the darkness. The blackout was total, no flicker, no glitch, just a precise, unexplained gap. No scheduled power cuts, no reported outages. The footage offered no answers, only deepened the mystery. The 90-second void became the case's central enigma. In that brief window, Martin Hale disappeared without a trace. The cameras, meant to provide clarity, only amplified the confusion. The car became the investigation's focus, a silent witness, holding its secrets. The driver's seat was pushed back farther than Martin ever set it, suggesting someone taller had been there. The fuel tank was nearly full, though Martin's routine was to fill up only on Fridays. This was a Tuesday. Credit card records showed no recent fuel purchase. Inside, Everything was in order. Briefcase, laptop, wallet, and phone, all present. The phone was turned off, an oddity for a man glued to his device. No signs of struggle, no foreign fingerprints, no evidence of violence. The 90-second blackout remained the most tantalizing clue. Maintenance logs showed no power cuts. The outage was precise and unexplained. Investigators considered sabotage, an EMP, a manual cut, but found no evidence. The system simply stopped, then started again. In that minute and a half, Martin Hale vanished from the tangible world. The car, so ordinary, was now a monument to the inexplicable. Every detail seemed wrong, every clue a dead end. The car's silence was deafening. The mystery deepened. Weeks passed, and the investigation became defined by what wasn't found. Police searched the terminal, marshland, and bay. No trace of Martin. The ferry manifest was a dead end. Martin never boarded, never bought a ticket. Staff and crew remembered nothing unusual. His phone, once powered on, revealed only mundane messages and emails. No secret contacts, no hidden plans. His laptop told the same story. Spreadsheets, news, weather. No evidence of a planned disappearance or secret life. The digital trail was as cold as the physical one. The ticket he took from the machine was never retrieved. No sign he'd entered the terminal at all. The absence of clues became the case's defining feature. No struggle, no witness, no motive. The story stopped abruptly in that car park. The void itself was the most disturbing clue of all. In the absence of evidence, theories multiplied. Some believed Martin took his own life, driving to the terminal for a final, symbolic act. But there was no body, no note, and no sign of depression. The scene was too complex: engine running, seat pushed back, phone off. It didn't fit Martin's meticulous nature. His wife insisted he wasn't suicidal. The details argued against a simple explanation. The suicide theory answered why, but not how. Too many questions remained. Another theory. Martin met someone that morning. The 20-minute wait was anticipation, not hesitation. The full tank, powered-off phone, precautions for a secret meeting. The 90-second blackout suggested sophistication, perhaps an abduction. But Martin's life showed no sign of secrets or danger. No debts, no double life, no evidence of criminal ties. For this theory to work, Martin would have to be someone entirely different from the man everyone knew. It's a cinematic idea, but pure speculation. The shadows held no proof. Some believe Martin staged his own disappearance. The running car, the blackout, the left-behind phone, all part of a plan to vanish. Maybe he had help, a new identity, awaiting escape. But why? He had no motive, no apparent reason to abandon his life. Pulling off such a feat would require resources and cunning Martin never displayed. The theory is clever, but demands we invent a new Martin Hale. Like the others, it's a story built on gaps. The truth remains elusive. 16 months later, Martin Hale's disappearance is still unsolved. The car was returned to his wife, a painful reminder of the unanswered questions. The facts are few. Martin arrived early, sat in his car, and vanished during a 90-second blackout. He left behind his car, phone, and briefcase. No sign of struggle, no clear motive. We know what happened, but not why or how. The case endures because it defies explanation. Was Martin a victim, a mastermind, or something else entirely? The 90-second gap swallowed him whole, The world moved on, but the mystery lingers. How can someone just disappear